Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them, episode 247, 3 episodes away from 250. And what will happen then? Nothing. We're tired.
Like, Janet will sue us again? Who knows?
Oh, she's not even done yet.
I know.
I don't think we've said that. Anyway, lots happening. We'll update you one day.
Yeah, I was like, there's nothing to really update until
It
July.
happens. I don't know why I'm still in meetings, okay? I thought I was
Yeah, no, I'm
free.
confused too, honestly.
Everybody is. Speaking of confusing, we have a few topics today. One of them is definitely a little bit confusing. And then the other one is just an update to the James Charles situation because Kayla Malec, the only person we cared to hear from, finally spoke out. And yeah, I'm very interested to show you all and just react to it because we were right.
I was going to say.
And sometimes we're not, but this time we were.
And it wasn't even just like kind of right. Like, we were spot on.
I feel like I know James Charles and his slithering ways. Like, by this point, if you don't and you buy his bullshit, like, I can't help you. You know what I mean?
There were a few comments, I feel like, on that episode where it was like, you're usually pretty fair, but you feel like you're like poking holes in everything he says. And I'm like, that's because there are holes to be poked in everything he says.
And we'll continue to do so. Thanks, Queen.
Yeah.
No, there are some people, Jeffree Star is included in that, whose pattern, like if you've been around long enough, you just understand that they are not people that are just like being judged unfairly. They are people that have distributed a pattern of behavior that like everybody has a right to doubt them, and they should, to like protect themselves against this person.
For sure,
like, I just feel
also, we weren't like looking for things necessary. I mean, yeah, we were looking for things that he was saying that were wrong.
No,
like,
looking or finding. Those are two separate things.
Both. Also, he was admitting to the most problematic aspects of the whole thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then trying to rewrite it as if it was like, but you know, it wasn't that big of a deal.
The only thing he denied was that he had sex with him, which like, I don't care.
We were just saying it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And I think that more so, like, I think we got a little triggered by the fact that the comments were so supportive for him.
Yeah.
That we were just like, wait, everybody, wait a second. Can we all just hold on?
Because the sentiment behind the support was like, he didn't stutter, so he must not be lying. And it's like, are you kidding?
He rehearsed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Refilmed 50 times. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
He also then had like captions that would pop up on screen to like clarify certain things that he said. And I was like,
oh yeah,
watching it back later. And I'm like, that's giving, he sent that to a friend. And the friend was like, people might think that that sounds weird. So like, you should clarify
I'll
this.
just put something on screen.
Yeah. Right before we had filmed, I had rewatched some of the stuff from Evan that Zach had posted. And I found some curious information that revealed basically that Evan was talking about the series before Kayla came out with the series. So I was like, that's interesting. How did he figure out that she was doing a series?
Oh,
Do you think
you clocked that specific
yeah.
part of it? Yeah.
And I was like, how would he have known that? Unless, like, maybe did she mention it in the live? Because I haven't seen the live that he was allegedly responding to. Also, in addition to that, he says that flat out, like, oh, I've been talking to someone. There's a lot of followers. It's like, okay, way to name drop without name dropping.
Stupid.
He flat out says that James said that she was doing it for clout. That was, I feel like, one of the things he reacted to most in her text conversation, despite her saying that he had done the worst things you could do to a human and lies and abuse and stuff. He was like, oh, wow, you're actually doing a series?
Yeah, I think that all in all, we just know the type of person that James Charles is. I think that's really it. And in scenarios like this, yes, we have a bias towards him negatively, but that's only because it's like almost common sense at this point. Like if he does something amazing, we can say like, oh, okay, slay, I guess. Like it's not like we're like everything he does is the worst thing a human can do. It's just as a person, he's not a good one.
Well,
that's
and
all.
I wouldn't even say that we were like, we know James, so no, it was that we were using common sense. It wouldn't make sense that Evan would be reaching out to James Charles. First of all, there's just no world where the two of them are just like best buds.
Zero.
The reason I brought all of that up is because Kayla, the day after we had posted that video, came out and told her side of things, and she had some interesting information to add to the situation. Oh God, I saw our researcher put a comment where it's like, James getting more hate than Evan is wild. And it's like, oh my God. It's not an either or situation. And also, people are giving James shit because he is like trying to act like he's a victim in all of this and didn't do anything wrong. Evan's in jail.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even have a TikTok. What do you mean no one's giving him hate? I think the government is giving him hate.
People used to say that a lot too in my situation. Like, oh, this person is getting so much more hate than the person who did the thing. And to that I say, two people can hurt someone for very different reasons, but all related together. And it is not other people's fault for holding that person accountable. It's that person's fault for putting themselves in a situation that they did not fucking belong in.
Exactly.
You put yourself there and you hung out with a person you knew was an abuser. fuck you then. Like, I feel like Kayla very much so, and she's gonna say it right now, we're gonna watch her video. She was hurt by it, obviously. It's really shitty. It's a horrible thing to do.
She basically also implies that, like, what else could you have really deduced from her saying the things she said other than he did some shitty stuff? Maybe not to the extent it was. Fine, but like also on the other end of the spectrum, even if you just thought that they had a messy breakup, and James even says like that he thought like maybe he cheated on her or something, but he still then chose to like hear him out and listen to him and then say that Kayla was doing stuff for clout. Like, weird.
Absolutely. And so we're gonna let Kayla say her side. Finally, again, the only person we really want to hear from in this situation. I was so tired of hearing Zach Saller's voice. Sorry, King. Not King, actually.
It was take like, that back. I don't know. Also, he's still MIA. Hasn't come back. Interesting.
He did put out like a brief statement because his account got hacked and then somebody was going live on his account. It was really weird.
Yeah, I put all that in the update, but he hasn't come out since then.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone.
Oh, so did you put that he had put in the caption that was like, everything's gonna, like, that's not true and everything's gonna come forward and whatever?
Yeah, I don't know if that was for sure
then just disappeared.
Because even that original post that I had seen, that was deleted too.
Yes, but also I'm pretty sure it was him because unless the person who's impersonating him just studied the way he types things, he always types with so many exclamation points and it's very precise to the person he is. Anyway, not important. We're not going to hear about him today.
No.
Moving forward, this is when Kayla finally posted her side of how James fucked her over.
Well, I'm sure by now everybody knows about the situation with me and James. And everybody has told their side of the story except me. And in my opinion, I was the one fucked over.
True.
So it's only fair for me to tell my side of the story, how I was fucked over. And I wanted to wait a little bit, have a little bit more time to just like relish in the fact that I won in court. But the response video was posted an hour after I announced that I won my court case.
That's what Lily said. She was like, you couldn't even wait for her to get home,
Literally.
Basically. He was like, I'm going to wait for court to be over. And by that, I mean 2 minutes after it's over.
I have seen a lot of people speculating why he waited, because it was not for Kayla, because if it was, he would have waited a little longer.
It just makes it even more icky, though, that he would use, like, protecting Kayla as the excuse. It's like, give me a fucking break.
I know, yeah.
He's so full of it.
I have, like, all of my bullet points written down next to me, and I hope I can do this all in one part, but everybody told their side, and like I said, in my opinion, I was the one fucked over here. So to start off, I would not consider me and James to be best friends at all. I don't even think I'd consider us close friends. We've collabed a few times. I went over to his house, what was that, like 9 months ago, to help him promote his company on live stream. We would text here and there about certain things, but it was definitely not like we were best friends. I like trying to put this into like it's kind of like that one person that's in your class at school that you're like mutuals with. Y'all are like acquaintances. Like we were acquaintances, but I don't think that excuses anything that happens in my opinion, but that's the best way to describe it. We definitely were not best friends. We were not that close, but we were acquaintances. We were not best friends in any way. But this all starts almost immediately when I made me and Evan's relationship public on TikTok. So I had posted a video with Evan next to me, and me and James have never DM'd on TikTok. The only previous messages we had on TikTok was us collab posting from when we would film together when I started my Glow Up series, like I was just talking about. And he like sends me my video. I don't know how you do it. Like he sent me the video and then under it he said, "Girl, who is this?"
What a goblin. What a goblin already. Immediately disgusted. How are you going to get canceled for being desperate and then do this as like regular practice? Because this isn't the only person you do this with.
No, obviously. For sure not. And reminder to everyone that he, in the text messages that he showed, that he confirmed are real, he responded to her telling him about the breakup by saying, "Can I have him now?" Yeah. So keep in mind that came after these.
Do you mean the lighthearted joke? He was just trying to lighten the mood.
Yeah, but then at the same time he said that he thought she was just joking about everything and it was a lighthearted conversation. So that doesn't really match up either.
I hate it here.
And I was like, oh, this new guy that I met, I think I'm in love, ha 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 ha. Then a month and a half later, he slides up on another video of me and Evan together. We have not DM'd on TikTok since this. And it's a video of us dancing together at Yosemite, and James sides up and says, "Girl, he's so hot."
That's
I'm
so
just like, haha,
weird.
yeah.
First
not
of all,
like you guys
especially
are
if you're
so
not
hot.
friends.
Yeah, it's not like you guys are such a cute couple. You guys look so hot. He is so hot twice.
This is so embarrassing. It's so interesting. And we pointed this out, and it's because we know the pattern of James. It's like, yeah, he shows receipts, the ones that make him look decent. And he couldn't even do that for this instance. He made himself look bad with the receipts he did show. So imagine, like, interesting that you didn't include this and be like, I would always play with her. Like, I was just joking or whatever the fuck. Because you knew that if anybody sees these, it looks awful.
Worse, yeah.
So at that point, that's like the only time that we would text was about him saying how hot Evan was, which is like, whatever. I didn't care.
It's not whatever, girl.
Think
it's
anything of
awful.
it, whatever. So fast forward to October, and me, Evan, Emma, and Brennan all get invited to a birthday party. We get there, and lo and behold, James is there. And Evan and James have not met at this point, obviously. The only thing that's been said is how hot James thinks Evan is, which is like, fine, whatever. So I see James, I say hi to him, and I introduce them to each other. And they're just talking for a fat minute. I don't know what really they were talking about. I wasn't really in the conversation. I was talking to Lila. I was talking to my other friends. I wasn't really in the conversation. And I don't know how accurate this is. I was not listening to the conversation. But Evan did tell me after that James was just saying how Evan was the hottest guy at the bar and he was the hottest guy there. I don't know how true that is.
I believe that.
I believe that with every bit of my soul.
Yep.
And it is not just my bias speaking. That is so James. Is there anything more James than that?
No, because it's like his way of flirting, because it's like, well, he's gay and Evan has a girlfriend. So like, obviously it's not a threat. It's just like him being silly. And like, no, it's actually him trying to like see if there's maybe a chance.
From the first moment that he messaged Kayla being like, who's this? Like, he's so hot. He was dead fucking serious. And if you need proof of that, all you need to know is him being flown out by James Charles to go to his house and lying to Kayla about it. Okay. If you really think like, well, maybe he didn't mean it that way. Oh, he meant it that way.
The way
Absolutely
he acted, like lying to Kayla was like only because of something he found out while Evan was there. As if there was any world that ever it would have made sense that he would have been like, oh yeah, Evan's over, and like not felt weird about it.
Honestly, I feel like the only reason he didn't ask Kayla more questions is because he didn't want to know. All he knew was that he was single and he's like, all right, period, let's go.
He didn't care.
Like, yeah.
And that's the thing.
not.
It's like, I don't think he thought Evan was this crazy abuser and like that he had done anything violent. I think that he literally was so just self-absorbed, wanted him for himself, that he didn't even really read what she sent, saw the messages about doing a 30-part series, and then was like, oh my God, this is my end.
Yeah, that's literally been our issue with James Charles all along, because he was so quote unquote desperate that he allowed himself to be put in situations that are disgusting. And how many times can you claim like, oh, I didn't know. You didn't know how old they were. You didn't know X, Y, and Z. Well, you keep putting yourself in situations because you're so chronically horny. So stop it. Like, what?
Also, I saw a few people bring up that like his own words felt a little incriminating, because he says the reason he like was lending his support to Evan was because Evan seemed vulnerable. And it's like, your favorite.
Yeah, literally. Whether it's because they look so young or whether it's because you're so much more famous than them or you have more money than them. He loves it. That's why he flies people out.
Exactly. He likes to be in control.
Yeah, and still like flying people out at this stage.
No,
it's like,
well,
James,
and that's why I always thought it was
God.
weird, like why he always used like Instagram and stuff as basically a dating app. And it's like, that feels like maybe not the place to be, because one, you don't know that any of these people are even interested in dating anyone, much less you. That's why you're getting stuff leaked, is because people are just fucking with you. But also, like, he does it because he has the blue check mark and he can like slide into people's DMs and be like, look how famous I am. Let me fly you out to come hang out with me. Doesn't matter if you're straight.
Yeah, I just saw on YouTube, I forgot who posted it. It was a drama channel. It could have been Dusted Daily maybe, but somebody was saying that somebody else that James was messaging exposed him for some reason. And I just haven't done.
I haven't watched the whole thing. It was a guy though that had come out before, I'm pretty sure, like back when all that was happening. And he now is a little older and he's coming out with more details. still. But it was a similar situation where it was like he was younger, James was offering advice, and he's just being helpful.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, super helpful. Stay out of people's DMs. They need to like disable that feature for his accounts.
Well, I'm like, go on at least dating apps where it's like the people want you to be trying to pursue them. Instagram, like no one is asking you to slide into their DMs.
2 messages in, he's like, can I see your armpits?
Genuinely,
like, okay.
though.
James was saying is just how hot he was. And once again, I brush it off. Haha, funny, whatever. Like,
you're better than me, queen.
Whatever. Like, I don't care, you know? So then 2 months after that, I get another DM from James. On December 17th, I had posted a video of us at Hawaii together. And James, once again, our only DMs is him once again being like, oh my God, he's so beautiful.
That's insane.
So literally the only DMs we have in the past year is him saying how hot my boyfriend is. Cool, whatever. Just like, what the, like looking at this shit now, what the fuck?
Literally.
It's not funny. I'm just like, what the fuck? So yeah, like at this point, the only things I've heard is how hot he thinks my boyfriend is. Cool, whatever. So now from December, it's January. And me, Brennan, Emma, and my boyfriend are in Hawaii. And this was the trip that we ended up breaking up and all of that shit happened. It's about the 3rd night that we're there. And I don't know if I'm allowed to include this. I'm going to anyways. But we're all sitting on the balcony of our Airbnb talking. And Evan starts saying that James is DMing him on Instagram. And immediately I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you DMing James? Like, immediately I'm just like, fuck no. Like, you're not going to do that. That's weird in my opinion. And at this point, our relationship was basically already over. And even Brennan was like, and Emma were like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you DMing him on Instagram? So we look over at the phone and Evan sends James a picture on Instagram. So like, you know how you snap on Snapchat? Like doing that on Instagram, like sending pictures back and forth. And Evan is like, you should go to Hawaii with us. And James sends back this saying like,
this, when I tell you it killed me, it's just, it doesn't do it justice.
This is exactly the progression of selfies that I would expect. 2 more and there's an ass pic.
Oh my God.
It goes from this to maybe like a shirtless one of the same kind, then ass pic for sure.
Wait, what does it say on it? Does it say, why should I come?
Yes. Tell me, what would we do?
I'm so disgusted. We learn a little bit more about this in a second, but that pose is criminal. He deserves charges for this selfie. It is so funny. I mean, I get a bird's eye view, okay, queen? Everybody knows, you know, that's how you hide the double chin, but this, come on.
Well,
even
also,
I wouldn't do this.
Like, yes, I get that Evan messaged first and like sent a picture. And like, according to James, I guess it was like, they were all in the picture. I think they were like in the background.
No, I'm sorry.
Regardless,
no.
I'm like, this would not be what I would send back.
So I always compare this to one of my closest friends who's Alex, okay, is gay. And he's like told me before in random settings like, oh, Nasim's so handsome. And like the way he says it is like very friendly and not repeatedly also. But then also
it's not giving like you look at pictures of him at night.
No, not at all. Because I know Alex's type. Like Nasim is not it. You know what I mean? But then also like he could just be kind or whatever the fuck. But if we were in Hawaii and then Nasim texted that to Alex, like it wouldn't be weird to be like, hey bro, like you should have come to Hawaii with us because we're always hanging out. We're always going on vacations and stuff together. This picture,
and
if he responded it, I would have been like, okay, enough. We're not friends anymore. Like, what is this? This is insane.
It's just weird.
Why should I come?
Because also James is probably like, oh, should I get on the next flight?
No, literally, he searched on Expedia. And you know he did. That's the craziest part.
I'm like imagining like if someone sent me that, like even if it was not anyone that I like thought was hot or something. If it was like, oh, you're sending pictures and it's like you sent one backward and be like, oh, no, I'm like on my couch. Or like showing something where it's like, no, I'm clearly not coming to Hawaii. No, that's not James' technique. He's like,
why
hey,
should
cutie.
I come?
Why should I come to Hawaii? And that for the first time is when I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they continued to text throughout the night. I was not like caring enough to go through his phone. I was just like, why are you messaging him? And I just, red flags. It was just so fucking weird. Because mind you, at this point, me and James don't text. Like, me and James aren't even texting like that.
It's super
James is only
weird.
texting me to say how hot he is. And now he's sending him snaps over Instagram saying, why should I come to Hawaii? Like, that's fucking weird. I would only do that if I'm, like, trying to fuck.
Right.
Or if I'm trying to flirt, you know? Like, it was just weird. So I don't know if they texted anymore throughout the night. I have no idea. I do know that all of their texts are over Instagram. So fast forward literally 2 weeks past this, me and Evan have broken up, and literally the day after we break up, James texts me.
The day
and he basically
after.
is
I told you, I
asking
bet
me
you
and
he
Evan
told
to be a
him.
part of this painted commercial video. And it was supposed to be like me and Evan, and it was like a couple thing, and it was for Valentine's Day. So I respond, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but we just broke up, ha ha ha. So I text James that we have broken up, and basically the first thing he says in response is, can I have him now?
The way that was so insane on its own, and now it's so much worse.
Yeah.
Like, when she started explaining just how desperate he was for Evan, I was gobsmacked. Honestly, I was.
And I feel like there's people, again, like, oh, why aren't you giving Evan the same? Okay, because it's clear Evan is a fucking weirdo and is in jail and is an abuser.
Can I just say that I really, really dislike them both? And I think that Evan is a monster that should be behind bars. And I feel like we've said that ad nauseum, and also directed people to her videos about her abuse, which I don't think is our place to even cover. So that's number two. And I completely, as someone who has been covered in the public eye, like, I appreciated when people left
especially
details
if you
out,
were
when
the
it was
one
just my story to
Yeah,
tell. So
especially
like, I
when
don't
you're
do
the one that already
Yeah.
did tell it. My point was just like, well, yeah, we know Evan is the worst. James is trying to pretend like he's not the worst.
Yeah, James is trying to pretend that he was just as blindsided as anyone else, and that's unacceptable. We can't allow that, because James is not just a random person who betrayed Kayla. He's somebody who's a millionaire because people watch his videos and support his brand. Still, even though after he's proven he's a bad person, it is important to call him out. Like, I really do think so, because he is a quote unquote powerful person.
I wonder, like, because of the timing with that and like James messaging her the day after they broke up, after he was also messaging Evan in Hawaii, which she said is where they broke up. I wonder if there even was a painted video, or if he was just trying to like
get information out of her.
Yeah,
maybe. But also, I do want to point out as well, since we were just saying how dangerous James Charles is because he has his platform, so many people have pointed out, and I think it is important to point out, that this is a situation, like him fucking with Evan and lying to Kayla about it and being involved with him, could have gotten her hurt. Like, seriously.
Okay, yeah, someone commented that on our video. And
It's
I was
so
like,
true.
Yep. I mean, we're going to find out. She says that James was the one to tell Evan that she was going to do this series. Regardless of whether he knew or not, he should have minded his own fucking business and not told Evan anything. But then knowing that Evan is violently abusive and is now in jail for that violent abuse, he could have had a much more volatile response than he did.
For sure. I mean, knowing that somebody's going to expose you, I mean, people in domestic abuse situations get unalived for far less. It's just like they're trying to move on with their life, and that's not okay for the abuser. So it's like letting someone know, which we do think, and I think Kayla thinks it as well, like the whole telling him about the series, dangerous, unforgivable, insane.
So yeah, do you want to be in a painted video with your man? I explained that we broke up. I was going to do a 30-part series. And mind you, he is the only person that I told, because this is a day after we officially broke up, he is the only person I told about a, quote, 30-part series that I was going to film about what I had went through. He goes, what? I go, girl, he's fucking crazy. And then there we go. What happened? Can I have him now? Once again, didn't really think much of it, but my senses were a little bit heightened now after the whole Hawaii Instagram DMing situation.
As they should be.
Then tell him, imagine the worst things a human can do. It would take hours to text, but you'll see this series soon. He then asks again about if I'm actually doing a series, which I'll explain why that has a lot to do with more going on. But he asks again about the series, then says, I'm sorry. And I go, oh, just wait. I gave this man a platform based off his lies and abuse. I'm gonna wait to heal from it and then clock it, which I did do. And then he goes, shit, I'm sorry, Kayla. And I said, you're good, thank you.
Also, I think it's interesting that he like dismisses the whole conversation as basically like not being that serious. And like he didn't take it that seriously. And like it's funny though that of all of the things to take seriously in that conversation, it was the quote 30-part series. Because when I read it, I didn't actually think she was gonna do a 30-part series.
Yeah, not
Maybe
literally.
she'd post a couple of videos,
Right.
but not literally 30 parts. That seems a little excessive.
Which is why she's saying that verbiage, 30-part series, he's the only person
so
she said that to,
important.
because it seemed like off the cuff. Like she was just saying that as a figure of speech, not that she literally is doing that.
Plan.
Yeah.
That was the last time we texted until he flew Evan out to California. But in these, I made it pretty clear that Evan had fucked me over. I brought up abuse, the worst thing a human can do. I mean, I obviously obviously did not go into depth with what
you
I
didn't
had
have
went
to.
through. At this point,
No.
like
Well,
James said
and
in
also
his
he
video,
didn't ask.
my friends
Yeah.
didn't even know, my family didn't even know the full story. Nobody knew the full story. And obviously, I don't expect him to sit there and ask, you know, oh, well, what happened? I don't expect him to do that. I get feeling uncomfortable in that situation. But I made it crystal fucking clear that I was fucked over in a pretty big way. And holy fucking shit, I do not want to have to make a part 2, but I'm at 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
You're fine, queen.
The bombshell is coming. No, actually, it was such a breath of fresh air to listen to her tell a story versus
Girl.
everyone else we've listened to the
Again,
last month.
if you've only ever heard Zach Sellers stories through us, then you have not heard Zach Sellers, because I edited those so heavily. And I'm talking every second of every video. It was like a pause or an and then repeating himself. Anyway, it was a lot. We've had a lot of that lately.
His ex-best friend that I put in the update, I think I paraphrased everything for her because I didn't want to put you guys through it.
It's a
Oh my
lot.
God. It was 9 parts and it was like, so... Yeah.
They just trail
I'm like,
off.
oh my God, like at least edit it afterwards.
I
I say a lot of ums and stuff. We cut them out.
But yeah, no, Kayla slays, and she does it like very effortlessly. Like she's just talking, you know? It's a gift. Honestly, it really is.
So basically, obviously, I don't expect him to ask me, oh, well, what happened? And I don't expect him to want to know the full story. I get being uncomfortable doing that, but I 100% think that in these messages, I made it crystal fucking clear that what he put me through was not okay. It was not normal, and it was an abusive relationship. I just think I made that clear. And no, we were not best friends. No, I wouldn't even consider us close, but we were acquaintances, and he knew me more than he knew Evan.
Absolutely.
He met Evan through me. I've known James. Like, at the end of the day, he knows me more than he knows Evan. So it's like, with that information, with what I told you, it should have been okay, I understand, and move on. There should not be a second part to this. It should have ended right there, and then none of this shit would have happened. There wouldn't be a drama. There wouldn't be a fucking, this wouldn't be a fucking drama if it ended where it should have. And in my opinion, if you have good morals, it would have ended there. I know people in my life that I have am acquaintances with, and they would not do that to me, and I would not do that to them. I would not do this to people that I've even collabed with once. I wouldn't do that to somebody. So in my opinion, it should have fucking ended there. And there should have been no communication between him and Evan past that point. But obviously that didn't happen. So a week after I send those text messages, me and Evan are broken up, obviously, but we were not on no communication yet. And so the day before I go live and say that I was in an abusive relationship, this was the day before I officially made it no contact and realized, holy shit, I wake up basically. Me and Evan have our final call. And this is when Evan says to me, if you tell people what I did to you, that means you never love me. That's when he said all of that on the phone. It was our last ever conversation. But in the beginning of that phone call, while we're talking, he brings up me making a 30-part series. And I immediately am like, how the fuck do you know that? And he quote said a 30-part series. The only fucking person that I texted about making a 30-part series was James. James was the only person I told about making a quote 30-part series. Once again, I don't know how true this is. He was abusive. He was literally, we all know by now. But Evan told me that James had sent him screenshots of our messages warning Evan that I was going to make a 30-part series.
How would he know to lie about that? You can't even lie about that.
I was just going to say, I'm like, the most he would have lied about is that he didn't have the screenshots and James just told him. But regardless, James spilled the beans.
And I mean, Kayla had her side of it to corroborate that. I get it. Evan's a piece of shit abuser, but that can't be a lie. He wouldn't have known that she texted him that.
No, and the only other alternative is that, which James, I guess, could claim is, how do we know that she didn't tell other people that someone else might have told him? And then we can't ask Evan because Evan's in jail, which is why he probably didn't want to fucking say anything.
But then I'd go right back to, okay, so I get it, James, you don't believe Kayla. I get it. That's really what it always comes down to.
Yeah. Also, come on. That's not the case.
Off. No, obviously
we know
not.
that you sent the fucking DMs, yeah.
Once again, don't know how true that is. But it makes fucking sense because on the phone, Evan literally said, so are you going to make that 30-part series about me? And in the text messages, once again, in the messages, I quite literally quote, tune in for the 30-part Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. Allegedly, apparently, from what I was told, is that right after sending those text messages telling James that we broke up, James went and DM'd him on Instagram, sent him those text messages to warn him, and then they started to create a friendship.
Actually, the most diabolical thing I've ever heard.
And you know how I know that to be true, and I feel like I can't even say allegedly. Like, I know that to be fucking
I'm like,
true.
I knew it to be true before we knew it, because
Right,
it was
but also,
pattern
like-
recognition and common sense.
Yeah, but it's just like he so strategically did not show his messages with Evan. He can't.
He has now come out and showed screenshots of his DMs with Evan, but they stop when this would have happened.
Exactly.
We don't get to this point.
Yeah, he can't show it because what he did is what she suspects he did. He messaged him immediately because he wanted to like build a bridge so that he could fuck him.
Because otherwise he had no reason, because they were broken up now. So why would he be messaging him? Because that's
reason.
Kayla's ex. Yeah.
Well, because he's obsessed with him and we have documentation of that.
Well, and now he's
desperate.
like, oh, well, we have something in common. People want to expose us again for illegal activity.
That is so icky, but that's it. That's literally it.
Because based on also what, and we'll look at them in a sec, the messages that James does show, Evan was messaging him, which is weird on its own. But I think that's the thing, is they were both trying to take advantage of each other for different reasons. James wanted to take advantage of him. He wanted to like date him or something. But Evan just wanted to have James in his corner because he's famous.
Yeah, you could literally hear it in Evan's addressing video where he says like, you know, he's like way high up and Kayla's higher up than me. And she's got, yeah, like that's what he values.
And obviously that forms to be true when about a month after all of this, I still have not spoken out publicly. The only thing I've done is go on live and say that I was in an abusive relationship. I was not ready to talk about the details of it. Still healing, okay? But I'm scrolling on Snapchat and I see that Evan had posted a Snapchat in the exact area that James lives, in a backyard that looked identical to James's backyard. And immediately I was like, there's no fucking way. Because this was about a month after I had been told that they were DMing. Why are y'all DMing for a fucking month? The fuck? I text James and I'll just green screen them again. And mind you, the last time that we texted was me telling him that we broke up, okay? I text him on March 1st saying, this is so random, hope you're doing good. Are you with Evan? He says, what? Your ex Evan? Doesn't say yes.
Fucking
doesn't say no.
gaslighter.
Yes.
Piece of shit. You
literally, I'm like, you
monster.
didn't just say no. You played dumb and tried to
literally
your ex,
gaslighting.
Who's Evan? I don't know.
That's not you panicking and you being like, oh shit, she knows.
Why would Evan be here?
Oh my God. Literally, he's such a gaslighter. This is what he
I
does to
hate
his
him.
audience.
And to his
friends,
acquaintances,
people in his life.
Yeah. Like, and that's another thing is like, you could argue if you're acquaintances with someone and then like they broke up with their significant other and then like a year or two goes by and for some reason you are then connected, like you cross paths with the significant other, you don't talk to the friend anymore or to the acquaintance anymore. Maybe there's some kind of friendship or something that strikes up. That is not what happened here.
No, not even close.
Within a month of them breaking up, you were talking to him like while they were breaking up. It's just insane. It's like there's no excuse for this.
None.
Other than you just don't give a shit about people that you aren't supposedly close friends with. But like even then, I feel like if he wanted whoever they were with, he wouldn't care either.
He goes, why would Evan be in my backyard?
Oh my God.
Later to find out that he was in his backyard. And that James
crazy.
had flown him out to California.
I'm sorry for pausing so much, but just imagine James' video right now, the one where he's addressing everything, and knowing that these texts exist. Like, he just skimmed over this. Of course, he didn't show it on screen because it shows what a gaslighter he is.
It's because he tried to also act like he only had to lie because he suddenly realized that Evan wasn't the best guy. And it's like, no, you would have had to lie regardless. Otherwise, you would have had to tell Kayla that you're hanging out with her ex-boyfriend and flew him out to your house.
And you
for the
know
weekend.
that's wrong, whether she was in an abusive relationship or not.
After you repeatedly had been saying how hot he is to her. And that's oh my God, it's just insane. And the gaslighting is wild.
And they spent the entire fucking weekend together. And honestly, if you knew you weren't doing anything wrong, why didn't you just straight up answer my fucking question and say, yeah, he's here, we're friends? Like, And in James's video, he was saying that, oh, well, he seemed depressed and sad and like he needed a friend.
And
I
Kayla
have a lot
didn't.
to say about that, but First thing, if you're just being there for a friend and that you think he's a good person, why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it? If you truly don't think you're doing anything wrong, why did you lie? Why did you lie about it? And then also keep it such a secret. Second off, you're being there for a quote friend that is your ex or your friends, acquaintances, ex-boyfriend that I told you was abusive.
You could have just stopped at ex-boyfriend. The abusive stuff makes it 10 times worse. But like, no, he shouldn't have been hanging out with him anyway. And it literally is like a month after they broke up.
Yeah, and he knew that.
You obviously knew you were doing something fucking wrong if you had to lie to me about it. You know? So
agreed.
That entire weekend that they're together, I drive past James's house to see if I could see anything because I was like, I need fucking proof. Like, I know they're together, but I need proof because I'm so pissed. Obviously, don't see anything. And at this point, I don't know what's going on. I have no proof, but I have a gut feeling that they are together, that they are hanging out. Fast forward another month. Me and James do not text. Nobody ever comes clean about anything. Nobody says anything, nothing. I release my "he doesn't love you" and I talk about everything that he had done to me. And me and James still are not talking. He still does not text me and say, hey, I'm sorry, doesn't try to explain himself, nothing. And in my opinion, that's because he didn't think he'd get caught. He didn't think I'd find out. So he had no reason to tell me firsthand. And that's why this shit really pisses me off. I end up texting James, asking to FaceTime for a segment on my podcast because Jacob had this funny idea that we were going to FaceTime James and James is going to be like, ew, Jacob, and then like hang up. It was supposed to be like this funny bit. I could include screenshots. Literally the next text a month later, after me asking if he had flown my ex-boyfriend out, I literally just say, hey, totally normal conversation. He does not bring it up, nothing. At this point, I don't have proof to back up my theory, so cool, whatever. But yeah, he doesn't say anything, acts like everything is normal. So then it is Coachella weekend.
His busiest time of year.
Couple weeks later.
Wait, also, like admitting to the, like him being at his house, he didn't even message her and say, I had no idea that was the extent of like what he did to you.
He does not care. I called it out in the last time we talked about him, but it's like the only reason he says he cares now is because he knows other people care. That is literally the reason
he knows he's supposed to. But like the fact that he like tried to be like, I like the horrible, vile things that he did to Kayla Malec, blah, blah. And it's like in this addressing video that he posts, he's like, I'm going to be so for real. I just like didn't take it that seriously. But it's like, well, now you for sure know, like everyone on TikTok knew. So like you maybe should follow up and go, oh my God, I didn't realize, like, I'm so glad you're okay. Anything. No. Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Hungry Root.
If you don't already know, Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist all wrapped into one, and they take care of all of the things that make preparing food for yourself that is healthy and delicious very annoying. They just make it so much easier.
They not only give you the recipes, which are great, they also give you the ingredients for said recipes, and those ingredients are pre-proportioned and often pre-prepared too.
Yeah, most of Hungry Root's recipes can be made in just 15 minutes or less, which there are over 15,000 recipes that are shipped out every week, and there's something for literally everyone.
There is, and that is coming from a picky person. I made spaghetti and meatballs the other day.
Oh, I had the chicken pesto pasta, delicious.
And then they also just have groceries aside from the ingredients you need. One of my favorites is the little mini pancakes.
Yeah, and they also have things like smoothies, kid snacks, sweets, and even supplements.
And for a limited time, we have this exclusive offer where you get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for the rest of your life.
You heard that right. Just head over to hungryroot.com/DWKT and use the code DWKT to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
That's hungryroot.com/DWKT when you use the code DWKT.
And thank you so much to Hungry Root for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast.
And a video was posted exposing James to have flown my ex-boyfriend out to California. The second that this video goes public, James starts to blow up my phone, asking if I'm at Coachella, saying that we need to talk. I immediately already knew what he was talking about. Are you at Coachella? Yeah, I am. Can I talk to you? I shut it down. I don't want to fucking talk to you. He says, I felt guilty for weeks and I didn't know how to tell you and I owe the truth.
Fuck off. No, you didn't.
So she says to him, honestly, is it okay if we talk about this tomorrow? I'm with my friends right now. And he responds, yes, of course it is. I lied to you and I shouldn't have. I felt guilty for weeks, but I didn't know how to tell you and I owe you the truth.
Now you owe her the truth. after you got exposed because you didn't tell her the truth.
Literally, you're going to tell me that those videos went public and you didn't reach out to her, and then Zach Sellers exposes you and you're like, where are you? We need to talk. I owe it to you. I felt so guilty.
He happened to have those pop up on his For You page, but not Kayla's, like anything from Kayla's video.
That's the thing that people don't understand. Well, a lot of people do understand it, but I'm like, the thing with James Charles is the same thing with him being like, I wanted to wait till after court to respond.
He's chronically
doesn't
online.
care about Kayla.
No.
He doesn't care about any abuse in this situation. That is my opinion. But let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure that's the truth. And all of his actions display that.
He cares about himself and how he looks and how his
self-preservation over everything.
Yeah. Well, and even he follows up and he's like, because he owes her the truth. And then he says, but I want to explain what happened from my mouth. Not, she's blocking him for now. But I'm just like, first of all, no one wants to hear it from your mouth because, like, you had a while to tell her, or you could have just never done it. That would have been a better solution. And also, it's like, of course he wants to explain on the phone, so then she has no screenshots. So then he can manipulate her like he manipulates everyone else. And he can be like,
Zach Sellers, fuck him as well. But with Zach, he wanted to get Zach on the phone.
Exactly.
He's like, can you take your videos down until we can get on the phone?
He doesn't want a paper trail, and he wants to be able to, like, use emotion to appeal to people's, like, it's just ridiculous. And at Coachella, like, no, she doesn't want to fucking talk about this at Coachella. Are you kidding?
Right.
I explained it to you from my mouth, not the Zach guy, and then you can feel however you want to. To me, it's quite ironic that you suddenly feel guilty about this the second that it's made public. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you suddenly feel guilty once, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I text him. I've known for a while, but I saw the proof today. I'm just shocked. There's a ton to explain.
No, there's not.
I'm annoyed with myself for allowing you to find out this way instead of just telling you myself. I say, okay. He then says, he manipulated me as well, and I fell for it.
Also, the fact that he says, like, I'm annoyed with myself for letting you find out this way, not I'm annoyed at myself for hanging out with him.
Well, because he's not. Like, I don't think he's sorry. I think that because he didn't, and this is my theory, okay, my opinion, because he didn't have sex with Evan Johnson, he's annoyed that he even let it get that far because it, like, didn't pay off for him. That's what I truly feel is how he feels. And then he's just like, fuck, this was like all for nothing. Now it's a big mess.
I think it's that he views it as he didn't do anything wrong and that Kayla's just, like, sensitive. It's like giving the vibe of, like, I'm sorry that you were hurt. Like,
yeah,
I didn't mean to hurt you. I just, like, meant to hang out with Evan.
Bro, it is so crazy though. He manipulated me as well. Do you know who you're talking to? He didn't just manipulate her. Like, you're not comparable. You guys didn't go through the same thing.
I stand by you 1000% and need you to know that. Stand by her for what? The abuse that you have not acknowledged yet? And you've only acknowledged now just you're hanging out with him? Because that's insane.
To when I then reply, I got so pissed off. How did you get to the point for him to manipulate you? I told you he abused me the day we broke up. Then you texted him that day that I told you that. But I'd rather talk to you about this tomorrow. You met him because he was my boyfriend. After that, James did try to reach out multiple times. He wanted to meet up and talk, and I'll give him credit for that. I can tell he feels guilty. He was blowing me up for days and days after that, wrote me long paragraphs, just a lot of stuff. I personally decided not to respond. I decided not to meet up with him because, quite frankly, what the fuck do you have to say?
Well, and also, she even says, like, she gives him the benefit of the doubt that he feels guilty. Does he? Or does he feel scared that he's going to get fucked over? Because
that's what it is.
Yeah, like, I don't think he was worried about
I think her instinct was probably telling her that, and that's why she was like, fuck this, I'm not answering, which I'm really glad that she didn't, because had he gotten her in person, my God, he just yaps and yaps and yaps and probably talks in circles and manipulates until you're just like, okay, like, I guess.
100%. And I'm glad that she, like, didn't want to hear it because she recognizes that the problem is not that he lied about it. It's that he did it in the first place. The lying just made it worse.
I'm honestly happy I didn't meet up with him to hear what he had to say because it clears up nothing for me. What happened. You knew he was my abusive ex-boyfriend. I'm gonna have to make a part fucking 3. Jesus fucking Christ.
This next video is part 3. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit just so we can get to the second topic, but just so you know, if you have us going fast, slow down.
I just think it's a load of bullshit. And watching the apology video quite literally pissed me off even more because I can genuinely appreciate to where you now feel guilty. And I don't think that you still support him. I don't think that at all. I know once I posted the proof, you probably dropped him. I'm not doubting that. It's the fact that my word was not believed. My text messages of me saying that it was abusive, that he did the worst things a human could possibly do, those were taken lightheartedly. And then you went and DM'd him and formed a friendship with my ex-boyfriend, believed everything he was saying about being depressed and suicidal, and you wanted to sit there and be there for him, and you believed everything that came out of his mouth, but not mine? That's fucking crazy to me. How are you gonna sit there and take everything to heart that my ex-boyfriend is saying that you met through me, but not what I'm saying, that makes zero fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Or do I sound delusional? Am I just like salty? Ew, that was so cringy to say. Or, like, genuinely, do I just sound bitter in this situation? Do I sound bitter, or like, do I have a fucking point?
You have several
points. I do not think that if I did not find out through TikTok and if this shit was not made public, I do not think I would have ever found out. I don't think I ever would have received a "I felt guilty for weeks" text.
Oh,
I don't
100% you wouldn't have.
I don't think I would have gotten that at all. I do not think I would have gotten an apology.
It's not a coincidence that it's only when James Charles is backed into a corner with proof that he panics, shits himself, then tries to spin it behind the scenes, and if he can't, gets in front of the camera. It's what he's always done, and it's what he will always do. Like, he's never gonna change that, because quite frankly, it's worked out for him. Like, I feel like, all things considered, he loses a lot of fans, but a lot of them stay throughout it. They buy his shit.
And I wonder if also we would have heard anything if Evan didn't go to jail and didn't plead guilty and it was still like up in the air.
No, I
mean,
think
it
with the
wasn't up in the
Zach
air, there was
thing,
proof,
and then people
but-
were covering it.
Yeah.
Because she also was publicly supporting Zach. I think that with the Be Better thing, it was just like a lot. Like, there was a lot of clamoring, you know? Everybody was talking about it. So I think that alone.
But I think that was the nail in the coffin, that there was no plausible deniability, like, oh, I didn't know. Maybe he could, maybe he didn't do it. No, he did. He went to jail for it, and you look like a fucking asshole.
I am just so grateful that Kayla had proof, because I know what it's like to not. People like James and people who support James, she would have just gotten so much shit that she doesn't deserve on top of everything she's been through. And it's just like, none of this should have happened.
I mean, honestly, and I even thought people weren't necessarily believing her with the proof. And it was like,
oh, I know.
What the fuck are
I've
you
always
talking
said
about?
that. Yeah, I've always said you can put something like literally on a big screen, be like, this is a crime that took place. And they'll be like, I don't know. Let me ask some questions first. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. It's
What
like,
was she wearing?
He would have owned up to it and texted me about it if it had not been made public. And I think there's proof to that, because he kept it a secret literally up until he went public with it. And then also, it does leave a bad taste in my mouth that, listen, I get it. If your name's being slandered and you want to clock that shit, fucking clock it. I get it. But to do it an hour after I win the court case is fucking crazy, in my opinion. 1 hour after I announced that I win the court case, here's a 10-minute video, and all my comments are now flooded with, did you see James's new video? You couldn't even wait till the fucking 8th? Like, that's crazy to me. And I get it. You wanted to clear the air. I get that. But to not even wait 3 hours? Not even an hour and a half? What the fuck? I mean, at that point, damn. Sorry. I'm just like, I'm crashed out. Like, it has been so hard to sit here and not say fucking shit when all of this is going on, and then seeing the apology video. I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts.
It wasn't an apology.
I don't think this is like a pick sides thing. I don't think there's sides in this. It's just a story. I think that he fucked up. James fucked up, and he fucked me over. And it was a shitty thing to do. I do find it interesting, though, that James posted conversation receipts with everybody. Me, a clip from my sister's live stream, like everybody's receipts, except for his Instagram DMs with my ex-boyfriend, if they're not already deleted. And I don't know. I think the timing of everything was weird. I think the receipts were odd. That's basically my side of the story.
Should we move on to James's story that he posted after Kayla posted this? Because James definitely saw this and was like, shit, what am I going to say? Well, she said, like, you didn't show receipts, so I'll show receipts. But he can't do that because they're going to make him look worse. So the only receipts that he does show are from before he sent the screenshots to Kayla. James then goes on his story after he sees this, and he says, I watched Kayla's videos last night, and I'm grateful that she did not feed into the lies that she was told by Zach. How is that what you got out of her videos? Like, she didn't actually really acknowledge them, because it, again, doesn't matter if you had sex with him or not. But okay. She did not feed into the lies that she was told by Zach, while also expressing how I upset her. I said it in my original video, and I'll say it again. Kayla, I'm sorry I was ever involved with this compulsive liar, and I'm even more sorry that my involvement hurt you. And again, it's like, I'm sorry my involvement hurt you. It's not, I'm sorry for my involvement, period.
yeah.
He goes on to say, she said in her video that she wasn't sure which stories from Evan were true, and there seems to be some confusion about my involvement before their breakup. I want to make it clear, I absolutely did not pursue Evan or have a secret plot to take him from Kayla. As you will see, Evan reached out to me multiple times. I politely responded and then ended the conversation. I offered to privately share all of these messages directly with Kayla so she could see what actually happened. But now, I will share them publicly to hopefully make that clear. Then he shows these text conversations.
It's insane. What he shares is obviously very strategic, as we know, that is his pattern. But he shows specifically the Hawaii text, and that one really caught my eye.
Well, so he shows all of their communication, leading up to Hawaii, and then it stops.
He wouldn't dare do what he did with Zach Sellers, which is like scroll through their conversation from start to finish. He can't do that.
Well, this is the start, but then he just stops when it gets to the point that he self-admittedly became friends with him. So I'm like,
and started
where
messaging
those,
on vanish
though?
mode, allegedly.
Exactly.
So the Hawaii text starts by Evan saying, "You should come to Hawaii with us sometime, brother." And then James clarifies that the photo that was there was a selfie that he sent first with the girls in the background. And then James sends the legendary selfie, which she actually posted a TikTok, which was like the full video. And it was kind of everybody on the balcony. It looked like Evan included being like, what the fuck? Like they were all just a bit, confused by James' selfie. But he says that's the selfie Kayla showed of me on Evan's phone. And then James follows it up by saying, quote unquote, brother is crazy. And there was a lot of people pointing out that like, that's flirting. People are like, oh, it's just because he like refers to himself and everybody as sister. And I'm like, no. He's like, why are you calling me brother? Like, I'm not your brother.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a flirty thing. If you get it, you get it.
I definitely didn't get a sister connotation. But then he also had showed the two before that. And it did show that Evan was the one initiating the conversation.
Yeah.
Like it was Evan saying, it was good meeting you, brother, after they first met. Then it's him saying, is there any good events coming up? So again,
Disgusting.
Evan was trying to use James because he is famous. And then James was not engaging in it because Kayla was still dating him. But the second Kayla wasn't dating him, that's when we don't see the text anymore. That's when there's no more correspondence, even though that is the part that we need to be concerned about. And like, yes, Evan was very much partaking in this conversation and like egging it on, but that doesn't matter. James should have just not engaged.
Yeah, but that was always, the only thing that stopped him from pursuing Evan was Kayla being in a relationship with him. And the second that was no longer a thing, he went for it. He doesn't think about like, oh, like that's weird, or I owe it to this person to not pursue that person romantic. Like he doesn't think about any of that. He doesn't care.
And I just think it's wild that he shows the conversation as if it just ended after that last exchange when they were in Hawaii. And it's like, how did he end up at your house?
Oh, we know how.
How did you go from this conversation to what actually transpired? Because like you acting like this is the only part that would be incriminating when this is the least incriminating period of time. Like, what do you mean?
And once again, nothing he says changes anything. Nothing he said in his apology changed anything. And this statement certainly doesn't change anything. And you being like, I'm so grateful that like she also expressed how... You're not grateful for any of this. You hate that this is happening. Stop it. Like, I'm so over it.
I'm so glad I got canceled.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just,
And then he finishes it up with another text on screen where he says, I'm happy that Kayla got justice for what Evan put her through.
Sure.
And like she said, she deserves to celebrate. I can't with him taking her words and being like Kayla said, you aren't on the same team.
You're not. And the reason she couldn't celebrate was because of you, remember?
But he says, I genuinely wish her the best and pray that she continues to win with her abuser staying behind bars. The fact that he thought that was like gonna be a good move, like what did you just think you proved there?
He just needs to stop.
Because like it's just like shut up and go away.
He's never gonna go away. We'll see him here, I don't know, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, but he always ends up right back here where he's having to address something because it got leaked that he's a horrible person and friend. And yeah, I'm over it. But anyway, we do have a second topic. This one's more lighthearted, kind of, but also very weird. So shall we?
But also interesting because I feel like a lot of the time, I guess in the beginning, maybe we started with mostly covering influencers, but I feel like as time has progressed, we have gotten into a lot of people that aren't necessarily influencers and it's just like people that went viral. These are more influencers.
Yeah. And speaking of influencers, do we know them? I do actually know this person. I have met them in person. I have collaborated with them. We're talking about Brittany Furlan. Brittany Furlan was briefly, for a few years, I would say my arch nemesis, but then wasn't anymore. We had a nice exchange in Paris. And interestingly enough, like she was, not kind to me for a few years. And then we had that exchange in Paris, which was actually so interesting because being an influencer is so fucking weird. It's like you really don't know anything about a person, you know what I mean? And you could think like a million things about them because you've seen them online and then your friends that are influencers are saying things about them and then like you don't even know what the fuck to think. And so I think that was like kind of the source of some of our issues, but we were in Paris, we were doing the same brand deal for a movie and we had to collab. And I think she got like sick or something, like her throat was hurting and I gave her a cough drop. Like it was literally just like me giving her like a Halls.
And she realized you were like a human?
I'm not joking. Yes. Like literally she hugged me and then she was just like, thank you. Like I'm sorry. I think she even said, I'm sorry, but like we didn't talk about it. Something of that sort. You know, that was nice. And I really appreciated it, especially at that time. And then years later, I want to say like a year or two ago, could have been a little bit more, I got a DM from her and it was just her being like, hey, like, I just want you to know that I'm really sorry. And like, I think about it a lot.
A second apology.
I mean? Yeah, it was through Twitter DMs. And she was just like, I just think about it a lot. And like, I should have never
left that.
You know, whatever. And I was like, wow, okay, Brittany, period. I mean, like, it was really, really nice.
Better than the alternative, a retraction and act like the apology never happened.
Yeah, that would
not
be
like anyone did that.
Yeah.
No.
But you know, there's plenty of people who have done some crazy shit on the internet and just like thought something of me and acted really fucked up because of it. And I just really, I know it's like bare minimum, but like I really appreciated it. Well, and I was like, oh, thank you so much.
Even tying in like the James thing, it's like he has to be backed into a corner to apologize or acknowledge that he did something wrong. So it's like when someone goes out of their way to admit that they were wrong, that means usually they do actually feel bad. Like she isn't just blowing smoke up your ass for no reason.
Yeah, but anyway, so we have to cover this bizarre situation. And I feel kind of bad because it has to do with her marriage. So if you don't know, Brittany Furlan, who's 38 years old, married Tommy Lee, who is 62 years old in 2019. And I remember finding out about this and I was like, that's interesting. That is an interesting pairing.
I definitely
you know
thought
what
it
I mean?
was
Just the
interesting.
age gap.
Yeah, that's a word to
a lot of
describe
things. So apparently Tommy Lee is a drummer for Motley Crue. Is that right?
Like Pamela Anderson.
Okay, so literally I only know him because of Pamela Anderson. It wasn't our time, obviously. So like, I don't know. But he was like some sort of fucking rock star and everybody was like obsessed with Tommy Lee back in the day. And then he did a sex tape with Pamela Anderson and he dated her too, right?
Yeah. They lived together and were like together for a while. And then, I think they were married. They have like kids together, don't they?
I think so, actually.
Because I watched, there was a TV show about them recently, which I feel like Pamela Anderson did not agree to or want, but alas.
Yeah, but the third person that we're going to be talking about, his name is Ronnie Radke.
I had never heard of
this individual.
Nope.
And apparently he is also in a band.
Which I've also never heard of.
Do we know them? Obviously not. Our researcher just put this in here as an introduction to Tommy Lee. It has music, but it says me trying to get my husband to give up smoking and it's Brittany. And then it jumps to him snorting a cigarette with his nostril.
That makes me like,
want to puke.
Literally, I'm like, I can't even.
I know.
I don't really see her much. I feel like she pops up here and there, but I think I even sent it to you. One of the things I saw in the last probably year or so is that they had like a coyote come into their backyard and she basically like saved her dog from the coyote.
Oh,
it was like very dramatic. It was on the news.
Yeah, so she hasn't been posting on TikTok. Like she posts on TikTok, but she's
not really like a content creator that much anymore.
No, it seems like a hobby, honestly, that she's just doing at this point. I think that she still does do comedy shows, stand up, I believe. And that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't think she's doing any acting work. And I don't know if that's because maybe she just like
doesn't have to
chilling. Yeah, like doesn't have to. Tommy Lee's very well off. I don't know. I have no idea of her situation.
I feel like it was implied, but did we say that the reason she's like has a following on her own before Tommy Lee is because obviously why she was doing brand deals in Paris was she was a big Viner.
Yeah. So she was like, it was literally before Lele Pons came into the picture. It was like Brittany Furlan was the #1 followed female, and then I was always second. Just like what is it? Academic reader test in elementary. I was always second. Margaret Alonso always beat me.
Oh my God, not Margaret Alonso.
Hope you're doing well, Queen. And she did a bunch of different things back then. Like she did like characters, but she was like in it. You know what I mean? Like she was constantly posting, constantly collabing. She was like grinding pretty hard.
I feel like she's pretty synonymous with like when you think of Vine, she's one of the names. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I just didn't see her for quite a while. I think that beyond the coyote thing, the only other thing I had heard was they had some sort of emergency where she had to call 911 because of Tommy Lee's son.
Oh.
And I remember hearing that on TikTok and I was like, oh God, what's going on? But otherwise, really hadn't heard much about her.
When did they get together?
In 2019.
Okay. So 6 years.
Yeah. And I do remember also something about him going on a trip and she was like scared he was cheating on her. Like there's been some dramas and quarrels and it hasn't all been like smooth sailing, which like no marriage is, but
it's also interesting because it all has stemmed from his behavior, which is not surprising because I feel like he was very problematic like throughout all of his relationships.
Yeah. So fast forward to May 15, 2025, TMZ reported that Tommy Lee and Brittany were separating and they say that it's because they're arguing over his drinking. So I guess he was sober from drinking for a while and other stuff. Because, I mean, if you were a rock star back in the day, you did a lot of hard shit. You know what I mean? That is pretty, everyone knows that. So I guess he relapsed and was drinking. As much as I think TMZ can be so full of shit, I have myself been featured on TMZ. I know that they like sleuth, bro. Like they like stalk court records or 911 calls or like anything they could get their hands on. They're just like stalking the California area and like anything related to it. So it could be true. I don't know. It says in the article that Brittany and Tommy Lee have been living separately for the past 2 weeks, according to sources close to the couple. They were told that Brittany and other people around Tommy feel like his drinking has gotten out of hand, and while they've urged him to get sober, Tommy's been resistant.
This came in an interesting order, and that's the reason why that's relevant. A few days before that article came out, we go back to this Ronnie Radke guy that we don't know who he is. He posted this on Instagram.
Guys, I have to make a video about something I feel like is very obvious, but there's a lot of gullible people out there, so here we go. This is my Instagram, the only one I have. Twitter, the very obvious Twitter, the one with 500,000 followers or whatever, that's the only one I have. The TikTok, the that we're on right now is the only one I have. This is not me. I don't have a Snapchat. I've never had a Snapchat, guys. Like, dude, when she doesn't send nudes when I ask, like, I mean, I don't know why anybody would ever.
I mean, shit, I would look at that and believe it. What the fuck is not believable about this? By the way, this is like, if you haven't caught on, like this is a PSA because it is apparent that although we're going to be talking about Brittany Furlan in relation to Ronnie Radke, he has some sort of issue with like a lot of people being catfished using his pictures.
Yeah, he has basically a lot of impersonators, which isn't surprising. I mean, like,
surprising to me.
Really? I mean, even when like I was getting a lot of followers on Instagram and stuff, if you search my name, there would be a lot that came. I don't think people were actively using it and catfishing people, especially I think when you're in a band and you have like groupies and stuff.
I think that it's not surprising that people are using his pictures. I think it's crazy that like multiple women who are like young, well-followed people on the internet are falling for that. That's what I find insane.
Is there more than one?
Yes. So there was like a few women that, there was one in specific that he addresses, but like, yeah, there's like multiple women that have been catfished and like fully believed that it was him, apparently.
Oh.
He says it's not him. Enough that he had to do this PSA. This was before he came out about the Brittany thing.
Well, and I know that like people, even aside from like catfishing and like romantic or sexual situations, like we did also, what was that whole Brad Pitt thing? That was a much more extreme situation. But I've seen a lot of celebrities come out and be like, hey, just so you know, this is my only account. Don't like send money or don't buy anything from these people. That's not me.
And I do know that people do it even with very large celebrities. How do I know that? Because they tried to do it to me on MySpace and I did fall for a few of them. Miley Cyrus, one I did think was her. You know, it was back in the day before technology.
But what they do, and I'm like thinking of the Brad Pitt example of like, that was a really poor.
My favorite episode ever? Yes, it was.
I don't know why they thought that would work because it was so unrealistic. But what a lot of these people do will be like, message them from this account and be like, this is my private account that I message people on. To that, I think, why would you need a private account? That's so weird. Yeah. But I feel like that is a common thing that people like do to catfish as celebrities.
Like use it as a finsta type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Would ever fall for. That's not even how I speak, guys. So if you're like falling for stuff like this, you are literally just. Dude, come on. You're hot as F. Hey, remember me? Would you like to come with me to Italy in like a month? I honestly didn't know it was really you when you were talking to me before. I went through a lot. There's not enough to describe all the things I would love for you to accompany me to Italy. And if you blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I feel like some of you guys deserved it. Like, come on, dude. That's not me, guys. This to my girlfriend. You do know that Ronnie is in a relationship with someone else who he has been dating since 20.
This is somebody sending this to his real life girlfriend saying like, you know, he's in a relationship with someone else. You're a home wrecker.
No, wait. But that's after they say, so you are taking him away from his soulmate. What?
See, yeah. Like this seems to be an active problem. Apparently, and it seems like the majority, like what he's showing right now is fans. You know what I mean? Probably young. Oh my God, I'm so dead. Don't believe me? Then I got proof he is saying that you are not together. So I will be happy to share those with you.
Oh my God. He says you're out of your fucking mind and they go, I'm not actually. I can prove it to you. He says, okay, honey.
This isn't him. This is his girlfriend.
Oh.
They're messaging his girlfriend like, how dare you be with him? Like,
it's actually insane.
2021, you are taking him away from his soulmate. You are a home wrecker and man, smackhead, druggy. Don't believe me? Then I got proof. He is saying that you are not together, so I would be happy to share those with you. Then she says, I'm sorry you're getting catfish. Yeah, it is actually. So believe what you like because I know it's him. He got an email address you don't know about. So take your smack and pass on your nasty diseases, blah, 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 blah. You laugh like at least I'm not a home racker, blah, 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 blah. Here's her email. It's Ronnie Radke Music 4.
Let's jump into the Brittany thing because that's not what we're talking about.
Because he's like, some of you, I feel like you deserve that. And it's like, I kind of like, that is ridiculous. That's giving the Brad Pitt one.
A little bit, yeah. So then we kind of have like a weird series of events. So then there's Tommy Lee posting in the studio. And this was like his first public, like alluding to the fact that things were not going well with Brittany, which is like, sir, you're past the middle of your life. Like, perhaps we don't do this. Perhaps we're not children anymore, but okay.
And I think he's always been messy.
Also, our researcher was like, is this copywritten? I don't think so.
Ironically, I've been working on this song called Stupid Girl.
I'm working on this song called Stupid Girl.
And the caption says, everything has its place and time, and this one hits right on the head, stupid girl.
Someone just commented, sounds like fucking shit. I'm sorry, that's funny. It does sound pretty bad.
Someone said, bro, you are a senior citizen. Time to grow up.
And I mean, listen, you can go through things at any stage in your fucking life, but like wow, like this is a stupid girl. She's not a girl. She's almost 40 years old. You guys are in a marriage. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. You don't do this with marriage and with real life shit. Like, if you guys are going through it and you're going through some crazy shit, that's what you're going through. Like, you don't need to put it online. Yeah. This is things we have to tell like children. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Where we're just like, maybe we're oversharing on the internet, not fucking 62-year-olds. So Trouble in Paradise, sure, fine, whatever. So we had known that Ronnie had done his little PSA, Tommy alluding to that. But then weird crossover series of events here. So
she's everywhere.
I know. So Bunny XO is in this picture that we're showing right now. Okay.
Friend of the show.
Yes. And she is in a picture with who I thought was Brittany Furlan on the bottom right, but apparently that's not Brittany Furlan.
I guess it's his ex.
That's his ex. Yes. So that's his ex, Saraya.
Ronnie's.
Yes. Ronnie's ex. Sorry. It's getting confusing. So Brittany Furlan posts it and says, so grateful for powerful women.
It's like a picture of Bunny and then the picture of Saraya on top.
So is she just saying like women I'm grateful for type of thing?
I guess.
So then Saraya, who is Ronnie's ex, reposts it because Brittany was saying like that she's grateful for her. I think it was just like a collage of women she's grateful for. Maybe she did a few slides. I don't know. Saraya, who's Ronnie's ex, reposts it and puts, ooh, right back at you, baby, with a heart. I do not think that she understood what was going on. Obviously, how could she have? She was just being like, period, like, love you too, queen. And then Ronnie sees that because that's his ex and says at Brittany Furlan, ooh, right back at you, Snapchat queen. Okay, so this is like the first that we hear of anything. Like nobody knew that they were associated in any way.
Also, I'm just confused at why he would repost that.
Oh no, that unleashed the floodgates. After this, Ronnie just went off. Like he is the one who outed all of this, and it is arguable whether he should have done that at all. I think that he got triggered by that post because it had to do with his ex, and then he says something about Brittany having reached out to his ex, and like he just thinks that Brittany's obsessed with him. But anyway, let's go in order. So he follows that up with this story that says, you've been in a fake relationship with a catfish posing as me, and that's why you and Tommy Lee are getting divorced, Brittany Furlan, with the meme of a dog side-eyeing. Then he posts the same thing that he had just posted on his like PSA about Snapchat being like, this isn't me. So he posts that same profile.
He's also spelling Brittany wrong.
Oh yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, pretty wrong actually. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, no one spells Brittany like that, first of all. And also, I feel like he spelled it right a second ago and now isn't.
Maybe he's typing fast. But it says, Brittany Furlan got caught messaging this person and is trying to say it's me, but it's not. Mind you, Brittany Furlan had not gone public with this at all. So it's like, he's not defending himself against anything that anyone is aware of. You know what I mean? Everyone's just like, what is happening?
She has not mentioned anything with him. She only mentioned the ex. So Tommy Lee posts a random story that just says, who's been catfished?
Oh, and then, yeah, Ronnie reposts that. It's hard to tell with the text, like who's writing what. But then he writes on the screen, Brittany has Tommy, which is like, okay, I mean, I get it, whatever. But it turns out that they had been him and Tommy Lee had been messaging back and forth, but we'll get into that in a second. He posts a text conversation.
It's like him and his friends, and he sends a screenshot that Brittany Furlan has started following him. And he says, Tommy Lee wife, liking my shirtless photos only.
And he says on screen, she's been doing this shit for a long time. Then he starts showing their DMs together and puts on screen, in fact. And he shows that Brittany Furlan is essentially just like responding to his stories.
He doesn't even follow her. It just says Brittany follows you.
Again, this is all like stupid. Like we don't need to be seeing this at all, but it's just, it's a lot. And then he posts another story that says her last DM, she told me she was sitting outside my house like a weirdo. And she just types, I'm here with a question mark.
What is the story she's responding to though? It's not like she just messaged him.
I don't know. It just looks like a meme. It's really fuzzy, but it looks like a meme. So I think that she was like joking ? And then
things escalate.
Yeah, very quickly. So once he posts all of this, then what happens is Brittany messages him and sends a voice note, which then transcribes into like audio that you could read, and he posts that transcription.
Which I also think it's kind of interesting that he posted the transcription and didn't just like record and play the voice note.
He seems very interesting in general, to be honest. A lot of his choices were confusing in this. Honestly, a lot of it, I just didn't understand why we were hearing about it. Like, let's say that she stepped out of her marriage, which is essentially what the accusation is that she had been messaging Ronnie Radke, specifically on Snapchat.
But was being catfished.
There. So then she moved to Instagram and would like message him and a few other things. But like basically what happened was she came clean to Tommy Lee about it. Okay, so he came home one day. She told him about the messages and he basically lost his shit and messaged Ronnie and was like, you're messaging my wife. And Ronnie's like, what the fuck? No, I'm not. So we'll see those in a second.
Also, the implication is that they were like talking on Snapchat for a while and she was being catfished, but then they like finally were gonna take the relationship to like IRL. And then she went to his house, apparently because she claimed she was invited, but then like she wasn't because it was a catfish.
Oh, I didn't know it got to that point. Okay.
Well, and then that's what he's saying, that she said she was there as if she like showed up, like thinking that they were supposed to hang out.
Oh, so that meme you think that she replied to wasn't even relevant to what she was saying? She was just seeing that he was posting and then she was there?
That's what the impression that I've got from everyone talking about it.
But anyway, the audio message says, I'm just going to send you a voice note because you're saying it's not you on Snapchat. The day I had a podcast, I said I have to go to a podcast and I guess the catfish, but I don't know how it could be a catfish, videos me back in the mirror and zooms in like you do and said, have a good podcast, babe. And then last night had me drive out to your fucking old house in Hawthorne to meet up. And I don't know if this is just some kind of like joke and you and your girl were like laughing at it or whatever. And like, dude, I'm not trying to start shit. I'm not that kind of person. I didn't even mean to start shit, but I came home last night and my husband was like, what's fucking going on? Oh, so I guess Tommy Lee caught her on the way back from going to this guy's house.
Or maybe caught from him posting.
Oh, true. Yeah. And she says, I'm just an honest person and I just came clean. And I was like, I've been talking to this person on Snapchat and I don't know if it's not you, but if you're saying it's not you, that doesn't make any sense to me because I don't know how someone could film themselves in a video and go, have a good podcast, babe. When I was going on a podcast, and I get it, you have a girl. And in the beginning, when we started messaging saying like, don't snitch, whatever. And I didn't even fucking snitch. I was just like, I was supposed to go meet up with somebody and and I was crying and I felt bad and like we've been going through it and dude, like I'm not even trying to fucking start drama for you. And then he was like, who was it? And I fucking told him and this just turned into this and I told him to leave you alone, but of course like he's not, and I'm sorry for anything that he said to you. I'm really hurt and I just don't know how this wasn't you because of the personal messages and I guess it is what it is. So she's saying she was going to go on a podcast and we have her response too. She basically says like there was multiple situations where like it doesn't make sense that would have been a catfish.
The catfish would have had to have access to a video that just happened to perfectly pertain to exactly what they were talking about.
Exactly, which is not super common. And especially, I mean, listen, I don't know, obviously, exactly what's going on, but Brittany is not new to the internet. Brittany's been on the internet for over a decade.
Like, she's not a naive fan that thinks that this is like parasocial.
Yeah, it's not that we can't be catfished. It's just like it would be a lot harder to catfish us than it would be to catfish anybody else, I feel.
Even back to what I was saying earlier, where it's like celebrity catfishes do use like, oh, this is my private account, this is my other email, blah, blah. It's kind of like, okay, well, why would they have that? But if she's saying that when they first started talking, he still had a girlfriend, that would make sense maybe why he would have a secret account, because he was like trying to keep it hush hush.
Yes, and also this next exchange between Tommy Lee and Ronnie makes me think that I don't know if this is really a catfish situation. But anyway, he writes on screen, Tommy Lee very upset with me catching his wife, understandably. And it just is Ronnie saying, bro, what? And then Tommy says, Brittany, don't fuck with me, dude. And then he says, you are fucking with me? I never once communicated with your wife. Hold on and let me check. What do you mean let me check?
I can't remember.
I mean, okay, I guess. Like maybe they had like random DMs from one point. I don't know, whatever. Then Tommy responds, what the fuck are you talking about on Snapchat? Oh my God. He says the F word. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
He says, you guys are supposed to have us some effing F words, ass dinner date last night. Oh, so they were supposed to go on a dinner date.
Yeah, supposedly. The catfish invited Brittany to come over.
Then Ronnie says, bro, I don't have Snapchat. I like you, bro. I wouldn't mess with your wife. And then Tommy says, that's funny because she says you're lying. And then he says, I just checked my DMs. So immediately when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so Ronnie's in a band. Tommy Lee's like a legend in what he does. You know, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, he would definitely, this is a hypothetical, he would definitely backtrack like if he needed to. And then he's had this issue before where other people have been catfished. So it's like, I don't know. But also, had they really been talking, would he really have not DM'd Brittany ever? Not once?
Well, and also, why would he invite her over and then like not go through
with it? Yeah.
But also then why would the catfish ask her to come hang out? But also she said it was to, like, in her thing, it was like to his old house.
Yeah.
Which does give
give
catfish because it's like they don't have maybe his new address or something.
That's true. It's just so bizarre. When I heard this, I'm like, how did she get fucking catfish? Like, it just seemed so insane.
Like, especially if they were only communicating through this like weird Snapchat account that has no followers, she would have had to, you would think, have a reason to believe that it was him.
Right, yeah.
Meaning like he would have like said something on Instagram to like confirm that, or like followed her or something, but it doesn't even seem like that happened. I don't know. I'm curious what would have gotten her to feel comfortable believing that it was him.
Oh, she gets into it, yeah.
Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Pretty Litter.
Pretty Litter, as you guys already know, is my favorite cat litter to ever exist. It's all I will ever use. My cat Jasmine loves it, but more importantly, I love it. It is the easiest litter to maintain. It's low dust. It hides odor like no other litter can. And you find yourself having to change it, like fully throwing it out and redoing all the litter way less often than traditional litter that I was using before.
I think litter boxes are literally the #1 reason that I don't want a cat, but Pretty Litter has made me consider.
And the coolest thing about Pretty Litter is that it helps monitor your cat's health by detecting abnormalities in your cat's urine by testing acidity and alkalinity levels and showing the visible presence of blood. So all of those things bring peace of mind, especially as a cat owner. You know that they usually have a lot of urinary tract issues and stuff. So it's just a nice perk to have.
And also really cool is that it ships right to your door.
So if you guys want to try out Pretty Litter for yourself, right now you can save 20% off your first order and get a free cat toy at prettylitter.com/DWKT.
That's prettylitter.com/DWKT for 20% off your first order and get a free cat toy.
Pretty Litter cannot detect every feline health issue or prevent or diagnose diseases. A diagnosis can only come from a licensed veterinarian. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. And thank you so much to Pretty Litter for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast. But he goes on to say, you read that correctly. Brittany Furlan, Tommy Lee's wife, allegedly fell in love with a Ronnie Radke impersonator on Snapchat, drove to my house and sat out front. But I thought it wasn't your house. I thought it was the old house.
I mean,
only for me to find out and have Brittany threaten me and accuse me of lying and telling me the catfish is actually me. Well, I haven't seen any evidence of threatening. That's like an intense accusation, but okay.
I guess I feel like there was something about lawyers at one point.
He then posts an article, the TMZ article that we read, and says, I believe she may have sold this story to TMZ in fear that she would be exposed for having an affair with a fake Ronnie Radke on Snapchat for over a month and a half. That's a fucking stretch. I mean, come on. I didn't want to do this, but this woman posted my ex-girlfriend and then threatened me after driving to my house without me knowing any of this was going down. She posted your ex-girlfriend, like, why is that an element here? He says, Brittany Furlan not only got catfished by a fake me, she also refused to believe me, calling my lawyer and threatening me. Brittany, if you are reading this for the last time, it wasn't me. Which, like, at this point, I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, I don't know. It just seems like this could have been handled it's just like pretty embarrassing. I don't know. Oh, I guess now he shows a message from her that says, so good to know that you have not only been obsessed with me for years, but used to talk about me all the time to your ex. The truth always prevails, and that's not even the half of it. Now again, this is the last time I'm going to ask you to not contact me or post about me. And then he says on screen, she is convinced I've been obsessed with her for years. So I guess she knows his ex somehow through whatever. And they got to talking, and his ex was like, oh shit, yeah, he always used to mention you or maybe mention Tommy or whatever the fuck it may be. And then he posts another one that says, in fact, she followed me on every platform. I never once messaged her or any of them, nor did I even follow her back or like any of her pics. It was a one-sided relationship that I didn't know existed apparently. I will say, huge fumble on Brittany's part, not realizing that. You know what I mean?
That's what, it's just weird because she's not new to the internet. Like, I feel like there has to be a missing piece that like was enough of proof to her that it was the same person. And that she was also then okay with him not being willing to engage with her on any real platform. It's weird.
He goes on to say another instance where he felt like Brittany was stalking him and says, I went to a med spa with my girlfriend, appointment only. Went into my appointment. My girlfriend in the lobby texts me, Brittany Furlan just walked in. She didn't have an appointment. I came back into the lobby and she just stared at me uncomfortable until I left. The way he is portraying that is like she just like literally just stared at
mean him. Like,
that didn't happen. And she does explain that situation, but like that started getting me to be like, okay, dude, like I feel like you're doing a bit much now. Like, okay, she fell for a catfish and she like flirted with a guy and like wanted to step out on her marriage. Fine, that's not good. Infidelity's bad.
And is she publicly posting about any of it? Like, why are you so adamant on being like, she's a fucking liar?
Dude, I guess because she had been messaging him, and I really think it comes down to like he doesn't want to be on Tommy Lee's bad side.
Yeah, because that's probably like his hero.
Yeah, so like he just went in on her, but it's a lot. Like, it's like you can prove your point and say, okay, she was catfished, I have no idea, and left it at that. Now you're like literally claiming she's like lurking in the shadows, baby reindeer status, like trying to just seduce you. And I don't know, it's too much. Then he says Brittany Furlan contacted my ex, and then shows the screenshot of Bunny XO and his ex. Brittany Furlan then threatened me after, so I just asked my ex. She said, I don't even know her. She just called me and messaged me out of nowhere. You messaged my ex to try and get dirt on me for exposing you. So you messaged my ex after you tried secretly fucking a fake Snapchat me, thinking it was really me. Real cool of you. Obviously, they're both, I guess, at this point saying different things about what the ex is saying. I don't know who to believe. I'm so dead. Okay, so Brittany has a 7-minute response we're going to watch right now, but one of the comments on it says, I personally believe women should be allowed to cheat, especially if they're married to Tommy Lee. Thought that was funny. Listen, I understand that infidelity is horrible and wrong, and I don't think that she should have done that. I also think that, like, if it is true and he may be aggressive to her in some way, or like the alcohol thing or whatever the fuck, like maybe she's just going through it.
When he probably has stepped out of their marriage prior to this.
Oh, I'm telling you, I remember specifically, like, he went on a trip, I think it was on a boat somewhere, and like he didn't want her to go, but like other girls were going to be there. And she was really frustrated by that.
That's his whole like vibe.
I know, it really is. Anyway, so this is Brittany's response on TikTok.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm at a hotel, so I've been going through a lot in my marriage, which was none of anyone's business until this man decided to make it everyone's business because he thinks I'm obsessed with him. But I have my own receipts, which I am going to provide for you right now. On April 2nd, I messaged my friend Danny a voice note saying that I saw one of Ronnie's videos and I thought it was funny how he roasts people. And he said, I'm going to invite him to one of your comedy shows. And I said, no, he'll roast me. He probably hates me. He'll go on TikTok and make a docu-series about how much I suck. Well, here we are now, aren't we? Someone who's obsessed with somebody, why would they say no to them coming to see them? First thing. Then Danny invites him to a show anyway, even though I asked him not to. And he goes, and Ronnie goes, LOL, I only roast people that talk shit to me.
So this is a text message.
Who is she talking to?
So she's talking to, I guess, a mutual friend of theirs named Danny, something DL. I don't know specifically who it is, but she is claiming that this is a text message with Ronnie, like actual Ronnie, which he stated that he has never spoken to her ever. So like he says the Snapchat's fake. What the fuck is this?
This is the friend, not her. The friend sends a screenshot of his conversation with Brittany to Ronnie, and then Ronnie says, I only roast people that talk shit to me, and the guy says, let's go see comedy next week, dog. And then he says, what day? I'm tracking vocals and getting tattooed.
I got really confused and I thought this was Brittany texting him, but it's not. Okay, makes more sense.
And he said, let's go see some comedy. Then Ronnie says, what day? I'm tracking vocals, getting tattooed. Then Ronnie hits Danny up April 11th. Ronnie asked me when, he says he, but he meant me, you're performing next, and my friend Danny was in Austin. Like, oh, I'm the stalker, but you're asking when I'm performing next? Bruh. Then, on April 24th, I go to MGK's birthday party because he's a good friend and I really like him and he's actually a nice guy. After I go to that birthday party, the next day, on the 25th, Ronnie posts this on his page. Literally the next day, I wear it better. And if you look up, him and MGK have notorious beef because he said MGK copied him with his blackout tattoo because everyone's obsessed with Ronnie.
I don't know how connected this is.
Basically saying, I wear it better, #blackout, referring to the tattoo, which Ronnie does have. And so does MGK got the blackout tattoo recently.
So you think that this is connected? That like he was referencing that picture?
I mean, totally could not be, but I understand why you might think it would.
Okay, I thought it was a weak thread, but maybe you're right.
Mind you, I will be honest and say I thought he was funny. I've liked a couple of his posts. I've responded to a couple of his posts on Instagram. Nothing inappropriate. I've said, haha, whatever, here or there, that's funny or whatever. But things do get more fucked up, so just wait. On April 28th, this account messages me on Snapchat. I don't see it for 2 days. It was my friend Brittany's birthday. We were having a birthday party for her, and it said, bring me a piece of cake, MF, motherfucker, right? And when they first messaged me, this video where it's like, show me your tits was the only video there, and then the next one that came was the other one that this is posted. He has said this is not him. Okay. Then they were sending me video zoom-ins going, I was like, there's no way it's really you. Video zoom-in, yeah, it's me. One thing leads to another. This is the bad part. Obviously, I'm in a hotel right now. I've been going through a really tough time in my marriage, which was none of anyone's fucking business, but he's made it everyone's business. And this person started trying to seduce me and be like, you're so much hotter than my girlfriend. Like, he's like, you're my dream girl. He's like, we can have a secret thing as long as you don't snitch. Why would a catfish worry about me snitching? But okay. And then also, the day that I had a podcast, sent me a zoom-in video going, have a good podcast, babe. I mean, there were so many things that I've showed my friend Brittany, but conveniently, Snapchat deletes after 24 hours. I did not save things because I didn't want to be shady. And I'm in a vulnerable place. And so, yeah, but he says this isn't him. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, bro, like, I don't fucking care. It's a catfish. Cool. I got catfish. Why are you still harassing me? Why are you sending me hundreds of messages? Why are you trolling me? I don't give a fuck. I unfollowed you. Leave me alone.
I will say you're both messaging each other.
Well, I'm curious, like, what did they say? Like, what's the back and forth? Because the whole, like, bring me a piece of cake thing, that's not really convincing unless that was also a video. Like, if it's just text, like, you could be taking any video and putting text on screen.
That's what I'm getting a little, like, foggy on, where the podcast thing she's made pretty clear is on video. That's, like, her hearing him visually zoom into a mirror and then say, like, have a good podcast.
And the
that's
only
weird.
Explanation you would have for that would be that video exists somewhere else on the internet that someone would have been able to get it. But like, yeah, that is weird.
Okay, part 2. So basically, I told my husband everything. I said, I've been talking to whoever I thought this was on Snapchat. He says it's not him. Cool, whatever. Because I'm a good person. I mean, I'm not a good person for talking to someone while I'm married. I've been going through a lot in my marriage, no excuse, whatever. I come clean to my husband. My husband freaks out, messages him. That's how this all started. And this is where he says, I didn't even know she followed me on here. Never messaged, never spoke to her. Doesn't know I followed him on here, but then sends me a message saying, we've been keeping a record of you liking my stuff for weeks. Bro. Go to John 5's profile, Danny Loner, any of my husband's friends. I like all their shit. I like all my friends' shit because I'm supportive. I message fucking everybody. I'm in everybody's DMs all the time. Girls, guys, whatever. I love people. You're not special. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. You're not fucking special.
And that is a blatant lie because we have the screenshot of him sending to his friend being like, Tommy Lee's wife just followed me. So this is him just trying to cover his ass for Tommy Lee.
To Tommy Lee, saying, I didn't even know she followed me.
Yeah.
Here's him saying, I just want to prove the inconsistencies here. I never knew she followed me on here. and then sends me a message saying, we've been keeping track of you following me for weeks, and we've been talking shit about you to Manson's wife and Jonathan Davis's wife. Bro, I don't care. I don't give a actual fuck.
And I never made a video, and I was never in a fucking video. Don't you fucking dare bring my name into this. You're a fucking liar. You're stalking me. And we have weeks and weeks of... I mean, me and my girlfriend have been talking about this for weeks. I've been showing her you message.
Also, you can see on the top here, it says, or I can go public and make a video about it. You tell me. Sounds a little like a threat. I don't know.
We've been talking about this for weeks. We've been talking about it to Jonathan Davis's wife, to Marilyn Manson's wife for weeks. They all know about this. That you've been liking all my shirtless pictures. That you've been fucking stalking me at the med spa.
Okay, and the last thing I want to address is that he said I stalked him at a med spa that I've been going to for probably almost a year now. And I stopped in there one day on the way to my podcast to pick up some lotion that my injector had set aside for me, and I wanted to talk to her about it because I have wrinkles on my neck, okay? I'm getting older, whatever. He walks out. That's the last fucking person I would ever expect to be getting, I don't know what he gets, injections, Botox, whatever. That's the last fucking person I would ever expect to be there. But I'm stalking you?
No, that is a little
What?
weird.
I would never even think to ask anybody about you getting injections. Like, how does that make any sense to anyone? And since this whole thing has happened, he's messaged me 400,000 times. Like, doth protest too much, bro. I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone. You've blown up my whole life on social media. This is embarrassing for me, embarrassing for my husband. This whole fucking thing is embarrassing. I've been going through struggling with shit at home. I'm in a fucking hotel. Like, leave us fucking alone, bro. Like, if you want people to be obsessed with you, like, I don't know, get another fucking hobby, dude. This is just some serious narcissist shit. I'm done. Anyone can think of it what they will. All good.
Yeah, because unless she's like publicly saying that he's a liar, which it doesn't seem like she was.
Even if she was in his DMs saying you're lying or whatever the fuck, even if they got it in a heated DM, it's clear he wanted to go public.
Well, that's because she wasn't making it public. So it's like, why would you need to like prove yourself?
Yeah, and then we'll just end it on this because he posts a lot about it. And honestly, I don't like it. It makes me feel icky. Like at this point too, especially if you understand that like someone's husband allegedly struggling with an addiction, things are not good at home. You've already said it. You said the thing.
Well,
you know
that's,
what
I don't
mean?
understand
like,
what he's trying to prove if she's not like trying to debunk it.
Contest it.
Yeah.
I mean, she is kind of hinting at the fact that like she doesn't
Like, she
believe
thought
that
it
that
was him.
Snapchat's fake.
It's not even that she's saying he's a liar. She's just like, I just don't understand how that's possible.
Exactly. And apparently one of his followers sent him a screen recording to show him how the catfish may be doing this. And he's just like documenting it all and really diving into it. And I get it if it's like an avid issue for you in general, but targeting it towards Brittany and just like, I don't know, like I think it's a bit much already. Like she said, her life has blown up. She's embarrassed. Like it's not a good situation at all.
What's the thing that the follower sent of how he does it? Because that's also, I'm like, is it AI? Who knows?
Hey guys, I said I wouldn't make another video, but someone
did.
just DM'd me something really important, and I think it's really important that
See his tattoo.
Brittany, if you're watching this, and you need to see this. I'm
See, like,
really
what is
sorry. I just realized you definitely fell for some crazy shit. Check this out. This guy asked me, hey, do you want to see how these catfish are using your face to change blah, blah, blah? I can send you 2 parts so you can see how it looks for the person receiving it. Okay, cool.
Okay, let me show you. I just downloaded the last reel from your Instagram page, put it on this app. Then you get like the video, it's like, I just cut it to 21 seconds. Then you're going on select. Then you need to turn it to the Snapchat format. Do not accept on the Snapchat sign, and there you go. It's you with sound. I will show you, I will send it to my wife, and I will send you another video.
Not the wife getting
Okay,
catfish.
that's now from my wife's phone. You see 17 seconds. Opening it, and it's... I don't know how else to say it. And it looks like, if I go in it, It looks like it was like from...
I mean, yeah, that's not revolutionary that you can like use an app to send us that, because Snapchat is notoriously like you can only like film in the app, right?
Oh, I don't know.
So I guess he's saying like, oh, you can upload video to Snapchat, which sure, I have no doubt that technology has gotten that far, but like that doesn't explain specific sayings or things that like, is this a deep fake? What the fuck? And maybe she felt like more comfortable believing it because she has history like with the mutual friend being like, oh, he's asking when you're performing. Like maybe she thought our paths have crossed before. I'm married to a famous drummer. Like it's not out of the ordinary that someone like Ronnie Radke would message her. So
no,
like
for
I
sure.
think it
And
was
that's
just
why I said
easier for her to believe.
It wasn't as unrealistic as like a fan like just having a parasocial relationship and thinking that they were suddenly married to Brad Pitt. Also, she does bring up the whole MGK thing, I think, as a way to be like, he posted that in response to her posting with MGK. And then him saying that like, I wear it better, meaning that like he was like not jealous. But like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, that's the vibe. So it does seem like she did get catfished. And there was another girl that came forward, and I'll just play a little bit of this because basically she did like a thread, I think it was on Twitter, saying, you know, I've sat on this for a while, and now that I see Brittany's story, like I need to come forward with it. And he's just kind of like debunking it as it goes.
What's up, guys? Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. I have to clear this up for the final time, because Brittany seems to keep posting implying that I'm the catfish. She thinks I'm obsessed with her, guys. What a delusional woman. From Brittany Furlan. So good to know that you have not only been obsessed with me for years, oh my God, the audacity, ugh, disgust, but used to talk about me all the time to your ex. Are you kidding me? No, he's fucked. I have multiple girls in my DMs right now saying they got messages from the same account. My lawyer says not to engage. You can talk to him all you want. I will not be talking to him. I sent him a cease and desist, not even the, what? Then yesterday, when I thought it was over, she decided, Brittany Furlan, to post this girl named Alexa Starr about the same Snapchat. These two both got catfished by the...
So I guess the reason why he's addressing it is because Brittany kind of is like, you see somebody else has a story similar to mine. So that's why he's addressing the specific girl.
So technically she is implying that he's lying. I get it, but also like he's being very aggressive back.
I think that at this point, it's not even, I mean, maybe she does think he's lying. Sure. Yeah. That could very well be true. But I think at this point, the reason why she was like, because he was posting so much and also just like embarrassing the fuck out of her. Like, again, it wasn't just posting to set the record straight.
That's not her motive, is to like paint him as a liar. It's more to defend herself because she's like, I'm not crazy. This isn't as embarrassing as it looks.
The same Snapchat, and she's trying to say it's still me. Alexa Starr, you guys ready for this? Let's get into this. I stayed quiet until I saw something I will not stand for, a woman being called a liar. Oh my God. The next video you're about to see, or it's two videos, it's me on my balcony with my girlfriend next to me with my bird. One is a altered video of me sent to this girl on Snapchat where the voice is changed. And the second one is the original video.
No, actually, my boyfriend did the majority of the training specifically. And then after that, when he talked.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Didn't he just say ow in a different way?
Wait, what was the difference? There was music on one.
No. So what he's saying is the first one was the Snapchat that was allegedly sent to this Alexa girl. The second one is the real video. It says ow differently.
It does, but it still says ow.
I know, but like the tone is different. His whole defense here is that somebody took that video of the bird and used it on Snapchat to send to that Alexa girl. But those are different videos. Or like it looks visually like the same video,
it's the same video, but it's different sound. That's what he said. But I just am like, why would someone manipulate the sound though if they're saying the same thing?
100%. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. That's
like, it
very
seems like
strange.
a lot of work for the catfish to go through for
and
no
unnecessary
payoff.
work. Because if he says ow, in a different tone, it's not going to make them believe you more.
What he's trying to do is show that maybe the catfish manipulated, like, for example, the podcast one. But did you say podcast in it? Because that doesn't really help us.
Same account that Brittany Furlan was speaking to is speaking to this girl. LMFAO, you're wild. Find some dick tonight.
Yikes.
What you want to see? I will put on a fucking, I can't read it, show of a lifetime probably. Is that what it says? Well, do what the fuck I say then. Yes, daddy, tonight. Ew. Understood? Ew. Oh Ew. My God, this has got to be so embarrassing. Oh my God. This has got to be similar to what Brittany was doing, talking. Opened, crazy, you haven't done what I told you. Oh, fuck, I can't read it. Sorry, Daddy. This waiting shit is dumb as fuck. Send me a video of you giving head or getting fucked. Alexa Starr, the woman that shares the Snapchat catfish thing with Brittany Furlan since she posted it and admitted it. Here's where it gets wilder. A few days ago, Ronnie suddenly distanced himself from me. The account called It's a Catfish But Doesn't Lie. Here's the video. Bro, oh my God, dude. Dude, this is ridiculous. Here's the actual thing where they got that from. Here's the actual one. I'm just gonna post the picture because this is I think this is still on my TikTok.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that podcast thing that Brittany's referring to, if that exists somewhere else on the internet, that's all the proof that he needs. But
he doesn't ever get to that.
Interesting that he never addresses that one.
Y'all defending a guy who goes to a med spa to get Botox? Okay, Hulk Hogan and Billy Bob Thornton? Anyways, let's get back into this. The same account, you're such a little slut. I love it. This is from Alexa Starr being catfished by the same account Brittany got catfished by. Guys, you can't make this up. The snap video, the Ronnie Radke Snapchat sent 9/17 had the same hat, hairstyle, blah, 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 blah. Girl, this is surprising. I wear the same thing every day. All of these are posted to my Instagram.
This one seems like even more obvious that it would be a catfish because it does seem like they're just taking stuff from other places. The one with Brittany, It's just weird that where did they get that? Which you would think to shut it down, he would just acknowledge that. But I guess maybe if he doesn't know where, maybe it's like a deep fake or some kind of AI.
That's the only other thing that I could think of. Maybe it's that intense and because she's famous, the catfish just like tried harder. You know what I mean?
It would be very easy to clone the audio because there's voice cloning things that you can do.
That's terrifying. Okay.
It would be easier to convince someone if they just had to deal with the audio and not the visual.
Literally, the bird video is an example of manipulating the audio easily enough for them to do it for the most pointless fucking reason ever. But yeah, it had to have been something of that sort. And I mean, all I can think of in this situation is like, what's the point of us all knowing about it?
Why are we
like,
all talking about this?
I think it's literally so that he could be in the clear with Tommy Lee. And it's like, okay, dude, like, did you get that? Cool. Like, love that for you. I mean, I don't think that she's amazing for cheating on her husband emotionally. Like, I don't think that's good.
The only thing I can say is we don't know all the conversation they had. And like, if she
I think
really
that would have
was
changed maybe some
stuff,
context.
But she doesn't seem to have been taking it public. Maybe she was saying things that made him feel like he needed to publicly defend himself, but he's very aggressive with this whole situation.
He is, honestly. And I can understand if she's in your DMs being like, no, that was you. Like, that, I don't understand how that couldn't have been you. Maybe he felt like, what the fuck, it isn't. But I think that it's important to still realize that is still an inside problem unless she was threatening to go public with it, which I don't think she ever would have because it is embarrassing for her. What is the point of doing all of this? He could have had conversations with Tommy Lee or her, cleared it up and called it a day. Like this just seems, and especially like one video, okay, one Instagram story, fine. It's just a bit much for somebody that's already going through something. It's good though that she did own up to, regardless if it's a catfish or not, like she did step out of her marriage and like she did own up to it. So that does probably change our feelings on her and like feeling like we need to focus on that because obviously she gets that she shouldn't have done it. But all in all, I just don't think this was something that needed to be made public. And then on this level of public, it's not necessary.
I don't like the way he went about it. But I do understand maybe why you would want to be vocal about it because it would seem crazy to have someone being like, no, we had a relationship. And you being like, no, we didn't. What are you talking about? After you've already had experiences with people making like these weird accounts. I feel like he even could have addressed it without being so rude to her.
Oh, 100%. That's my main issue.
If someone was catfishing me, like I would feel guilty. Like I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, very weird situation. Not one I was expecting to see, let alone talk about, but wish everyone well. Careful who you message on Snapchat, I guess. Anyway, we love the internet.
Indeed.
Okay, mine is someone posting why they are for sure getting canceled. That's what it says on the screen.
Not James Charles?
No, not this time.
So if this TikTok thing keeps going, I just want everyone to know I'm for sure getting canceled. In the 5th grade, there was this girl, and we were friends, and we both loved Twilight. And I convinced her that I was a werewolf and that I would come to her house and pick her up and we could run to the woods together.
Period.
And she looked at my arms and she's like, is that why you have those lines on your arm? Mind you, they were stretch marks at 11. It's a whole nother story. But the next day she comes to school and she's like, you didn't pick me up. And I was like, girl, I did pick you up. You were asleep. Like, I wiped your memory so you would, and put you back to sleep so you wouldn't tell on me that I was a werewolf. She's like, oh, okay. I said, I'll come back again tonight.
It was just so elaborate.
You guys, Jesse's For You page is it's really weirdest shit.
Yeah, I've just started sending to the group chat. I'm just like, maybe other people should see this too. Maybe it's not for my eyes.
And then we see it and we're like, maybe we shouldn't.
Oh God, there was one with a horse and a thermometer.
Oh my God.
And she's like, how normal people check their horse's temperature. And then she puts the thermometer in the horse's butt. And then she's like, how I do it. And let's just say she had the thermometer in her boobs, got it out with her mouth, and then like flipped over and with her mouth put it into his anus.
I have no other words.
I thought you'd like that one. I thought that one would be a good one.
Not the kind of horse content that I'm...
I was like, animals, I don't know. No, you know what's more diabolical is that me and Alex have like the same For You page.
That doesn't surprise me at all. This is what's on my For You page.
Oh, the dog. Would have never seen that one coming.
I know.
The couch.
Says he hasn't quite figured out the couch.
It was a taco thing that one day, and I'm realizing she just can't.
Hanging off. Not fully.
She's just not committing to the jump completely, or she's just.
But she's comfy.
I don't know.
It's like she's like, I'm almost there. Just hanging on.
How this is, you know what I mean, Steve? I'm gonna go ahead and potch lift the rest.
She looks so embarrassed.
I would be so unfazed. That's like how my kids hang off of everything. So I just like, okay. Nobody fully makes it on the bed. It must be so peaceful to have your For You page. Just
it is. Nothing that pops up that just makes you question reality. And I love that for you. I don't even get a lot of the stuff that like we cover. It's mostly just animals. I feel like I'm fighting a battle every day. Well, anyway, guys, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you very much, but that's all we got for you. Indeed. As always, we hope you have a wonderful weekend and we will see you on Monday. Oh my God. Bye. I'm going to be at a bachelorette party. Wish me luck. Period. I'm going to die.